Hello everyone, hope you all are doing good. I am Ayn Singhal. Welcome back to the channel. This podcast is about MS admission in Arizona State University. So Aarushi Dhingra is here. She is currently pursuing MS from Arizona State University. In this video, we will discuss about GRE, LOR, SOP, application process, and much more. Do watch the video till the end. So let's start. So hi Aarushi, welcome to the channel.
Hi. Hi, Mayank. Hi. Thank
Hi,
you.
how are you Aarushi?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I am also fine. So let's start with a short introduction of yourself.
I am a master's in computer science student here at Arizona State University, and I did my bachelor's in Bharati Vidyapeeth. And I'm a 2022 pass out, and I'm a fresher over here also. So I didn't have any work experience in just 6 months work experience, like in my eighth semester. So I'll be in intern at Goldman Sachs this summer, and yeah, that's about it.
First of all, congratulations for the Goldman Sachs.
Thank you.
So let's start. So first of all, tell about the application process that help in the Arizona State University or some other university.
Okay, so the application process is pretty easy, I would say. It's not that tough. So first of all, I think that as an app and as an aspirant who is like dreaming of studying abroad, one thing that you need to do is probably shortlist the universities. And I would suggest, and a lot of people suggest that you categorize your university into three main parts, which is ambitious, moderate, and safe, basically. So that and make a good ratio of them, like make them equal, so that like ambitious are the ones that you think that they are a little tough to get into, but you would really love them to like get into. So like I applied in seven universities, and I had two ambitious, three moderate, and two safe. That's how I balanced it out. And I think every aspirant should do that, because it's pretty expensive. I think almost every application costs around 10,000 rupees. So as like a middle class or a higher middle class, you I think applying more than 10 universities is like around 1 lakh 1 point. So that's a little tough. So you need to like prioritize, you need to be safe, also you need to like make a little risks. So that's all.
So will you tell about the GRE, like how you prepared that and what time you prepared?
Okay, so GRE is like it's dependent on you. I have always read like novels from like the very beginning. So vocabulary I thought would be easier for me in GRE, but it's still very tricky. So if you are someone who's weak in English or is weak in maths, I think you should give it more time so that the questions come naturally to you, because that's what GRE is all about. Maybe if you are very like a little weak in English, I would suggest that 6 months before giving the GRE, start reading like Hindustan Times or the Hindu, or like go to like classic novels, like the novels with great GRE words. Because I read a few of the novels which have the words that are used in GRE, and that helped me a lot. So I would suggest like start early. And because I understand that not everybody has that command over like reading comprehension, and that's the tough part, I think. So start reading novels from your first year, second year, if you have that time. And yeah, and in maths, I think BTech students are probably super good at maths. So I don't think you need much more practice. It's simple 10th grade maths. It doesn't even have trigonometry or calculus. So it's basically just simple maths. So I think you can handle that. But if you are weak in maths, I would suggest that start going through, I think it was Manhattan 5 LB. Start going through that, and like start doing that like once, twice, thrice timed. Yeah.
Okay, and at what GRE score someone can dream of Arizona State University or some good university like Arizona?
Okay, so Arizona State University is like it's moderately safe. So I think something above 315 would be okay for it. But if you want to like prepare for better universities, or like a little higher in rank, like Purdue or like Georgia Tech, I would suggest, if you can, um, get your score up to 326 or 330 if you can. Obviously it's a super tough score to get, but I think that if you like prepare well enough, it's not that tough, you can do it.
So what was your score in GRE?
So my score was 324.
Okay, and what about the IELTS or TOEFL? Which exam did you give?
So I gave TOEFL. Now, depending on what country you are going to, you need to give the exams. So basically, TOEFL is something that people give majorly if you're going into USA, and if you are dreaming of like Canada, IELTS is a better exam to give. So you need to decide between the two. Like for example, Georgia Tech. You need to like go through the colleges and see what exam do they accept, because Georgia Tech accepts IELTS and it doesn't accept TOEFL. But if you mail them, it's fine. They accept it. But yeah, you need to see what colleges are you applying to and what exams do they want you to clear. And also one thing that I want to add, after COVID, GRE has been waived off in like most of the universities. So that's one thing that you can obviously leverage. If you have a good score, send it in. If you don't have a good score, you have a great profile, send it in, and don't worry about like your score. It's fine because it has been waived off now. So I prepared for TOEFL.
Yeah,
I just
TOEFL.
used like ETS material, ETS official material. That's all. And as I said, luckily I had already like had a little bit of command over reading comprehension and speaking. I was able to do it in like 7 days or so. But if you need more time, take that time. There are resources. There are reading comprehension passages. There are speaking comprehension, like speaking and listening comprehension sample papers that you can do, so that your score is maximized. Also, there are a lot of resources on the internet which have been put by the students, which you can find, you can dig on the internet. I can't like on like live stream, I can't tell those resources legally because they're like torrented or whatever. But yeah, you can do that. If you find that, it's super easy to find, so you don't have to like spend money to get those resources. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone wants to go for an MS after his or her fourth year in BTech,
Mhm.
so at what time he or she should give the GRE and the IELTS or TOEFL exam?
Okay, so a GRE, I would suggest that it is valid for 5 years. So if you can give it in the third year, because fourth year is busy enough for you. So second year and third year are comparatively a little less taxing in terms of a coursework also in college. So I would suggest, if you have the time, why not give GRE like in the beginning of your BTech, second year, third year, if you have the time. I gave it in like September of my, like I had to apply by October and I gave it in September. So I didn't go that early. But if I had to like tell my younger self, I would say that, give it early as possible. TOEFL is pretty much, it's easier. So you can give it like in August or September. But make sure to give yourself more time to have more attempts. So maybe if your TOEFL doesn't go well, maybe it's like, I don't know, it's 70 or 80 out of 120, and your dream university wants 100. So make sure that you have that time, because obviously your score also takes around 2 weeks to come, and GRE score also takes 1 month to come, the official score. So I would always suggest that give yourself like 4 or 5 months, so that if you want to uh, like give the test again, you have that time.
Okay, and at what time like the applications start and the person should start applying to universities?
Okay, so that's why I said that give GRE early, because one thing that I have noticed in my cycle was applications start from 1st August itself, and the sooner you apply, the more chances there are that you would be accepted. I saw that in Northeastern. I obviously applied in mid November. I applied on like 10th November or so. But the students who were like not better than me in GRE also, like there was this one friend who had a 314, and she also had like a little less CGPA than me, but she applied in September. So she got an admit, I did not. So this is one thing that I want to say, even with a weaker profile, if you want to apply to your dream universities, apply early, apply in September. But yes, the all the deadlines are in like December mid, January, and for ASU and other safer universities, there are like in March. So, no, ASU was actually December, but a lot of other universities have their deadlines in March and February. You can go up till that, but I would suggest that apply early. Yeah.
Okay, so after how many months or days, like the person can hear back from the university for the rejection or the like the for the further process?
Okay, so there are two kind of university applications. One is rolling basis, one is bulk. So ASU, UT Dallas, Northeastern University, all these are rolling basis universities, which means they get some applications, they decide what to do, they give the results. Then they get another applications, they decide what to do, they give the results. So as they get students, they give the results out in like 1 month or so. So that's why I'm saying that in rolling admissions, apply early, because for the first batch they have a little more seats, and for the next batch they have little less seats, then for the next batch they have a little more less seats. So apply early so that you can be filtered in. Okay, so for Arizona, UT Dallas, and Northeastern, all the universities that and you can get this all of this on the university sites, that are the applications bulk, like rolling or not. So if they are rolling, you would probably get it in 1.5 months, 2 months maximum. But if there are universities like Purdue, Georgia Tech, who first wait for their deadline to be over and then review all the profiles together, I like it takes around 3 to 4 months. So you can expect your results to be coming. If you applied in December or November, you could be like you can expect your results to get to you till March or April mid.
Okay, and like talking about the resume now. So what all in the resume should be there? Talking about internships, projects, research papers, CGPA.
Okay, so obviously CGPA is something that is like I have seen this, that CGPA is something which is super important over here, because I have friends who had CGPA of 9.5, 9.6, and they have gotten so like I think 30% scholarship here, like $10,000 or $12,000 scholarship at Arizona State University. And UT Dallas also takes that into account. Your CGPA matters a lot, so keep your CGPA up, and do as much research as possible, because these all people, like these are everybody's research oriented over here, so they want people to like come to their country and do research for their university. So basically they need people who are interested in research. Even though if you're not interested in research, I would say that at least show them that you are. That so I had one research paper which was accepted at Springer. So obviously like if you want a paper to be accepted at Springer, it takes around 1 year for your paper from the time that you submit it to the time that you get the result. So I would also suggest that start writing your papers early. Start writing your papers in the third year itself, so that you get the result that they're under process or they are accepted at some place, and that would also increase your chances, I think.
Okay, minimum count of research papers or something like any quality that you want to mention for the research papers?
Okay, so better the conference or better, more reputed is the publication, better is the research paper. Quality over quantity any day. Because for example, you have 10 research papers who which are like not in a reputed publication, versus a person who has one paper in a very like in a IEEE. So I think they would go to him. So make it about quality instead of quantity, but as many as possible, and also go into all the extracurricular activities, and also I would suggest like intern. I don't think internship is something they see that as much, unless it's like you're interning for Amazon or something. That's obviously a plus, but I think research papers, for at least getting into top universities is something which is super important. Or your research field, maybe you researched under some professor, maybe you like I was a summer intern at DTU, like one semester in my undergrad. So when they see that you have that research interest, that is something that always comes in handy.
Okay. And what about the LOR and SOPs?
Okay. So also start early for your at least your SOPs, because I took around 1.5 or 2 months to like redo my SOP, because obviously the first essay that you write, now you have chat GPT, so it's going to be super easy. But still, the first essay or the first draft that you write, it's always going to be something that you don't like that much. Then you wake up, or then I would suggest that, keep that aside, and like come over it 3 or 4 days later, and view it with a new set of eyes, and see, like that will allow you to see your essay from somebody else's perspective, which is super cool. So take your time, don't rush. But you have chat GPT, which I didn't have, so I took a lot of time. But you guys can use chat GPT, it gives super good essay SOPs. And LOR is something that in India we write for our teachers, which is super weird. But yeah, so you need to write it, but don't. One thing that I've seen here is that if you are a great student, don't write your LOR like you are the greatest student ever, because that's not, like, if a professor is super respectable, he would write an LOR very minimalistic, like he is a great student, I like working with him, he is efficient. But he won't write he's the best student ever, he's the most, like, keep it like, see if the top, how the top professors would write it. Don't like boast too much, because that would be a little unrealistic. So yeah, keep it a
Okay.
little realistic.
So the count of LOR varies from university to university.
Well, it's mostly three, I think. So three professors. So I would suggest that keep four professors with you. If you want to apply to more than 8 or 9 universities, I would suggest keep more than like keep four professors with you, so that your LORs are divided. If the universities that you're applying to are like 12, 14, 15, 16, the professors would get irritated that they have to do this work like 12, 15 times. So if you have more than 10 universities, for three LORs, take four professors, so that you can divide the universities amongst them, and everybody gets less than 10. So
So
that
each professor should be of like some subject or some research oriented.
it would be great if you can get somebody who you have researched under. That would be an ideal situation. But I understand that three professors that you have researched under is not something which is uh, like possible. Or so like you can keep. I had one research professor, the person that I researched under, and there were two. One was my HOD and one was my subject teacher. Like, keep teachers who you have been in direct contact with, and they know your work, so that they can be specific about what things you are good at, what things you are great at. And yeah, that's about it. And give them time, because because if you say that your professors, like, 1 week before the deadline, that you need to submit, they would get irritated. So give them time. I went to my professors in early August to talk about it. Then I submitted my LORs that I wanted them to submit in September, early September. So they had like 2 or 3 months to submit the application. That's one thing that I want to say, because they don't care if you miss your deadline, but you do. So give them time.
Okay, and some tips regarding to make the resume while sending the application to the university.
So for resumes, basically, for future companies also, I would suggest that there is this. Would be great if you can have a template which you can put it, because companies also, they have a parser. So if, for example, if you make a resume which is great, but it is not parsed, so it doesn't pick keywords, so that would not be great for your profile also, and it could be possible that you're not shortlisted for big companies also. So there is a great guy that I know who has he's a pretty famous. He has a great template. I would share the link with you and you can put it. So I use that template and it is parsed through every big company. So yeah, I would send you the link so you can just fill in, that is a template, you can fill in whatever you want to. So that's pretty great.
And talking about the projects, like how to like prove the novelty or some innovative projects. Are
uh,
they mandatory or the normal ones would work for the applications?
Okay, so I usually didn't have anything novel in my project space. For research, yes, I went to Google Scholar and I saw what research has been done on the field, and then I was extending that research. One paper that I really liked, I wanted to do that thing in another way with another data set. So that was a novelty. But for projects, I didn't use anything new. I just went through like Coursera courses, walked through YouTube walkthroughs, and also I had this project where I did my internship, my 6 months internship at Newgen. So that was a pretty great project, basically. So that was what I used. It was an authentication project which used JWTs and it an Angular JS. So yeah, so it was not noble obviously, but it was a pretty tricky project. So anything that you think is very like demand, it's in demand in the industry, it would be a good project. It doesn't have to be novel. If you can do something novel, go for it, because I saw some VIT students doing like sign language with AIML on LinkedIn some one day, and they got a lot of recognition. So if you can find something that you really like and it hasn't been done, that's obviously something you should go for. But if it's not novel, don't think about it. Just if you like AIML, just go with AIML projects. Just do something, let them know that you know this subject and you like this subject and you've done something with this. Yeah.
Okay. So you are studying in Arizona from past 7 8 months. So how is the environment there and academic process?
So, all the universities in the United States, I think they give you the freedom to choose your own courses. And when you come here, you recognize what courses are easy to get by and what courses are like demanding but very interesting. So, I have always challenged myself and I've always taken courses which are a little tougher to get score, but they are super like interesting and they teach a lot. So you can make your life as easy as possible and as tough as possible in universities. I would suggest challenge yourself. I've not learned this much in 4 years of BTech as much I've learned in like these 8 7 8 months. So I think if you have the option, you should study abroad. It's super cool.
Okay. And how did you got the internship in Goldman Sachs?
Okay, so the application process here is a little different. You don't get like on campuses here. So start applying from like June of like June of like you're coming here in August. If you apply for fall, start applying 2 months before you start coming to the USA. Like Amazon opens its internships on 20th June or 1st July for USA, and everybody who has applied before 15th July has gotten an interview. So Amazon, like all the same for colleges, same for jobs. As soon as you apply to the application date, it more your chances are of getting into it. So yes, I applied to like 350 or 400 internships before I had actually three offers. So yeah. So I applied to a lot of those, but I'm lucky that in this market I was able to score those offers.
Okay. So what are the other two offers?
So there was startup, actually. One was Climate
Okay.
LLC, yeah, and so that was based in Seattle, and one was Goldman Sachs. I also got an interview from companies like Nvidia, which was pretty cool, but I was not able to get into the next rounds. But yeah. Also, I was, like I said, parsing. I was able to parse at least my resume to Google, and they got me an OA. But yeah, after that, I got rejected. So
Okay.
parsing is super
And
important.
so what was the process in the Goldman Sachs? At what role you are selected in Goldman Sachs?
So it's software developer role, which they call as summer analyst role, and I am in the investment banking department over there. My selection process for that was, I okay, start doing lead code. Actually, that's one thing that I want to say. Start lead coding or HackerRank, HackerEarth, but lead code is something that they do here a lot. So one question a day, two questions a day, start doing it no matter what. My younger sister is in like first year of btech, and I have advised her to do lead code. No matter how young you are, just start doing lead code, I would suggest. And so my first I applied. Then I had my OA, which was around 1.5 hours, which had two questions. They were quite tricky, and that was I don't remember the questions. It was quite a long time ago, but yeah, you can just Google like Goldman Sachs OA questions, and you would get like previously asked questions, so you can prepare from that for what OA questions you would be getting. Next was my higher view round, which was a video round. I had questions on my screen, and I had 1 minute to prepare the answer and give the answer. Third round I was screened, and then the third round was there were two interview rounds. So two 1 hour uh, lead code rounds. So they asked me a lot of questions. One, if you want to know the questions, it was one was best time to buy and sell stock. One was using priority queue. I had to like they didn't say that I wanted to that I had to use priority queue, but yeah, the question was I needed to find the kth largest element in an array. So when you're giving an interview, this is a discussion on its own, but when you're giving an interview, start with the brute force and then just optimize it. So that's what I did. I started with the most brute force, and then I used priority queue after that. And yeah, so for okay, what else questions did I had? Oh, I had one, is this a valid anagram or not? This was for some, there were four questions, and I had to give them like I had to like code them up and compile it at the same time within an hour. Actually, it was like 15-20 minutes, because the other 40 minutes they were discussing my projects, my resume, and all those things. So 20 minutes you have for two questions, so you need to be quick.
Any last tip for the applicants who are dreaming to go to USA or Canada?
Just start applying early and start preparing early. If you are in your first year, second year, and if you are adamant that you want to go, just start doing something which would help your profile. Join a club, uh, network with people, anything that you want. That's all.
Thank you so much, Arifu, for taking out time, and wish you all the best for the future endeavors.
Thank you. You too. Have a great day and have a great semester ahead.
Thank you so much, and same to you. If you liked the video, do hit the like button and share this video among your friends and college groups. You can also follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram, link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Till then, bye everyone. See you in the next video.